I would like to welcome you all to this session with the title Smart Quality Mindset in Your Organization. You might have seen Evgenia Makarova's session in which she talked about smart quality. She's from McKinsey. There it was a session more about the theory behind smart quality and some examples and case studies. In this session, we really want to talk about Scilife's interpretation of smart quality and how we implemented that into the smart quality platform, which is now Scilife. So my name is Filip Heitbrink. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Scilife. For the people who do not know Scilife, it was born as a classic quality management system, a QMS, with the typical functionalities like document control, trainings, management of quality events, CAPAs, and change control, but then evolved into becoming much more than just a QMS. So we evolved into really a life sciences platform, and now we're implementing the smart quality concepts into the platform to make it as useful as possible for life sciences companies to manage their quality systems. So I would like to start with a statement today, which is that quality is top of mind for life sciences organizations. You might be working at a life sciences organization yourself, or you might owning a life sciences company. And I would really want you to think about this statement. Is quality really top of mind for life sciences organizations? So the reason why I asked this question is that what we learned at Scilife is that it is not really quality which is top of mind, but it's really compliance. So compliance is the focus of most life sciences organizations, because quality is really seen as a necessary evil, really a cost of doing business. Something that is mandatory because of regulation, something that top management says, okay, we need our quality department, we need to comply, so let them just comply. And what we've learned is that quality departments have a really hard time to go behind the rest of the employee bases to make sure people are compliant. They have to police the whole company to say, hey, are you working according to compliance regulations? So then compliance is the focus and not really quality. So that means that quality is really something that works invisible behind the scenes. Customers don't see it. The market does not see what that particular company is doing in regards to quality. And that's a problem until disaster strikes, right? So when disaster strikes, then quality becomes comes to the forefront, and everybody is saying, hey, how can this happen? We did have a quality mindset, right? We were being compliant, but something went wrong, and then you have you can have a huge problem on your hands, right? From fines until worse. So what we've done is to over time, we asked quality directors, quality managers about their greatest challenges. And what we heard the most are two things. The first one is late items. So you normally want in a quality system to have everything on time, right? You register quality events like deviations, non-conformities, you create CAPAs, and all this stuff needs to be signed off on time. You create your documentation to record or document your processes. People need to be trained, and training needs to be signed off on time. When there's an update of a document, same thing. The training re-triggers, and people need to retrain themselves in the new process, et cetera, et cetera. So having that done on time is a huge challenge, because it's a continuous thing. You're never really done. Whenever there's an update, whenever there's a new item, people have to keep doing it on time. So the quality department, again, is really going behind the people and saying, hey, sign off on your document, please review that thing, et cetera, et cetera. So late items is one of the main struggles. And the second struggle is to just have everybody on board with quality, that everybody should take responsibility of quality related aspects and really be proactive to make sure that the whole company is quality minded. There is no quality culture in most life sciences organization. So we've asked the question at Scilife, how can we really transform quality management from this focus on compliance only into a key competitive advantage, a key driver for value creation? And that's what Evgenia from McKinsey talks about in her session earlier today, where she explained this whole theory around smart quality. So McKinsey already coined the term smart quality a few years ago and published some articles because they noticed that life sciences organizations are missing out on the potential of managing quality in a way that it becomes a competitive advantage. If you do this, if you really accomplish instilling this quality mindset throughout the organization, it makes sense. The services or products that are created or provided by the company are then somehow upgraded. The whole company is better, the products and services become better, and therefore you can better compete in a very competitive life sciences market. So the way that we've interpreted quality, smart quality at Scilife is essentially 3 pillars, right? So McKinsey talks about it more in a theoretical manner. What we've done is, how can we transform that in a way that we can use it within this within the Scilife platform? So it came down to 3 core pillars. One is education, the second is motivation, and the third one is insights. With education, we mean that if you can make sure that people are educated and know the reason about these quality actions, they will be more willing to perform these actions. I can give you an example. When I started working in this space more than a decade ago, we were building systems or custom development for more laboratory type of LIMS systems. And I remember that they asked me to build a proof of concept for a document management system to see how would we develop a QMS, right? So I thought, wow, that's the most boring thing I've ever heard, right? I thought, how you want a document control system to just document processes and then trigger training, and it's all compliance regulation. I thought, okay, sure, we can do that, but it sounds like something that is just to be compliant. It took me a while to understand, as we later built this whole Scilife platform, the importance that the quality management system is. You should not do it just for regulatory reasons. You should do it, it's the other way around. Regulations have been defined because regulations see the benefit of a very strong quality management system. If you do it correctly, then the potential of having issues with products is obviously less. So I noticed that the more educated you get into quality as a whole, the more willing you are to work on these quality aspects. So now also at our company, obviously quality management is a very, very important topic, which we all try to understand. We teach quality in our company to make sure that everybody understands quality better, and therefore is going to take this responsibility of performing quality actions in a proactive manner. So education is absolutely key to make sure that you implement the first smart quality concept. That's the first pillar. The second is motivation. We need to somehow motivate people to perform actions, especially to solve the late items problem, right? So if people are not motivated to do that, you're also creating a problem in your company. A good example here is that a friend of mine that was working in a higher position at clinical trials company at a laboratory. I was visiting him and I was talking about some other problems that they had in their company. And I asked him at a certain moment, hey, how is it going with Scilife? Because they were using Scilife. And the first reaction was, oh, and I thought, whoa, what is this? You don't like you don't like the application? Well, what is it? Why this reaction? Oh yeah, I can show you, he said. And he logged in, he showed me his dashboard and he said, here, these are all the items. I have a ton of work. And then the quality department is creating all these actions from CAPAs to root cause analysis, impact analysis that I have to do or have to review. So on top of my work, I have now all this other work thanks to your system. I have another to-do list of things that I need to do, right? So, and I'll do it, but they're picking on me every time to do that, and sometimes I'm late. And he thought it was just a burden. So there we noticed that both through education, but also motivation in some other sense, we can make the whole quality management more fun. If you would have asked me maybe 5 or 6 years ago, what about implementing gamification in Scilife? We probably would have thought, what are you talking about? I mean, this is serious stuff, right? This is quality management. This is regulation. You cannot make this just fun and have some game created into the system to manage that. But it's not about creating a whole game around it. It's the idea of using psychological triggers that work, that are already being used in many other sectors, like social media platforms or online games, that make the user come back to the system to do specific actions because they are psychologically triggered to do so through gamification mechanics. Up to a level in these other sectors that people are completely hooked. They are addicted to a game or social media, as we know, right? So if you do that in a positive manner, and not up to addiction, obviously, and we're not creating an online game, but if you can use some of these triggers to gamify certain aspects of things that need to be done within the Scilife platform, and if it only would work for 20% or 30% of the user base, because some people are responding more to these triggers than others, but maybe 20 or 30% is already quite a lot. If you are in a large company, that's a lot of people, right? So that's why we decided to start with some gamification implementation to see how it would work, how the result is, how the response is from users, and slowly increment these gamification mechanics throughout the platform. So then gamification in this positive manner can definitely help to motivate the whole employee basis to take action and to take part of these quality-related items. And the last part is, of course, insights. The last pillar of this smart quality implementation that we came up with are these data insights. You're pumping a lot of data into a system, and this data, if you cannot get certain insights out of it, again, you're just helping people to be compliant, have their records in there signed off, and pass audits. But if you can look at the data and present it to people in a way that they can understand better what's happening from a quality perspective within their company, then you're getting much more value out of that solution. So when you just start out with a bunch of customers, obviously there is not much data. But over time, with thousands and thousands of users, millions of database records, hundreds of customers, then it starts becoming interesting. This whole big data volume that you start having in this standardized system in the cloud. So what we're doing is leverage on this data to provide customers with some data insights. For example, benchmarking is one of the most interesting ones that I wanted to highlight today. Benchmarking is just like people might know about Fitbit or Apple Watch or other applications that you might have on your watch or on your phone, where a lot of things are tracked. Your sleep can be tracked, your steps can be tracked, etc., etc. And then you say, okay, I'm sleeping whatever 7 hours per night or 6.5, and then you don't know if that's good or not, right? According to your age, according to your situation, according to whatever, the amount of hours that you sleep. Yeah, it's, oh yeah, okay, I can see that I slept the last week 6.5, and before that it was 7, and now it goes down again to 6.5. It's just informational, but you cannot really get an insight out of that besides knowing historically your own numbers. That's it. So what Fitbit did was to show benchmarks. If your age is between this range and you sleep 6.5 hours per night, then you're below average. Oh, that's interesting. So then I can compare myself to a lot of other people. They are not showing us who, they're not showing us names or where the data is coming from, but they have all this data because a lot of people is using Fitbit or Apple Watch or whatever. So they have all this data. The cumulative insights of that data can provide very useful insights on a personal level. So that's the same approach that we did at Scilife to provide benchmarks. If you are 15% late with CAPAs, is that a lot or is that a little? I don't know. I can ask my colleague at the other life sciences company and say, hey, how many late CAPAs do you have on average? That's it. I have one more data point, right? But what we can do at Scilife is we can aggregate all that data from all the customers and then say, hey, if you're between 8 and 12%, you're within average. If you're under 8%, then you're doing pretty good. If you're above 12%, maybe you should put more emphasis on the late CAPAs. So then you are showing the quality director where to put their where to invest more time, more on where to change their processes or have some mitigating actions. So it makes it more interesting to understand your quality data. It's just one example, but it's all about using all this data to provide more insights into how is your company doing from a quality perspective overall. So if you look at this slide here, we tried to explain how we are envisioning the smart quality platform, which has now become Scilife, and which elements should be there to be this smart quality platform and not just a quality management solution. Quality features is still the basis. Quality features here, as you can see, is a very important part. And that's what all quality management systems have, right? They all work on features to be able to manage quality related items. So from document control until audits management, supplier management, risk analysis, and everything in between. So training, obviously. So those are just quality features. You still need them. It's still there. It's still a quality management system. But what we've done is to put layers on top of it to become a smart quality platform. So the community is already there since a few months, where you are already creating a basis for continuous education by crowdsourcing that with all the thousands of users that are within Scilife. So here people can post questions, people can help each other. So you have the part of the learning part. We've added another layer to that, which is the Scilife Academy. The Scilife Academy, the end goal is to provide augmented learning. So what's augmented learning? The idea is to create an academy where you can educate yourself as a Scilife user to learn more about classic quality concepts, from root cause analysis to impact assessment or whatever. If you feel that when you are doing a root cause analysis, you would like to know more about the how, the why, the theory behind root cause analysis, you can just educate yourself within the Scilife Academy. There will be probably a course for that if it's a concept that is used a lot. So you can just go there, do the course, educate yourself, and that's it. That's great. Quality directors and quality departments can leverage on that, and instead of teaching themselves and developing courses within the company to educate the whole employee basis, we are going to provide that within the application. If there's a training in there, you can leverage on that and just ask your employee to go through it. The augmented part comes in play when the application is going to see that the user, according to certain actions that they are doing, is missing some information. So augmented means that the system automatically sees within the context of that user or that user's action, specific training is then proposed to the user. So it's automated. And then the quality director or quality department should not require to monitor maybe a huge employee basis and see who's missing what, because then you're too late, right? If you're assigning additional training because an issue, you identified the issue after root cause analysis, the issue was already there. If the system can identify that a user might need some more information about certain quality aspects, then we are being proactive and it's automated. So we're taking this responsibility a little bit off of the shoulders of the quality department. So that's the augmented learning part. Very interesting. It helps with continuous learning within the organization. The gamification part I already explained. You can gamify basically everything that has that can be late. So gamification means that you can get points for doing correct actions within the system. Everything that has a deadline is a potential a candidate to be gamified. So late CAPAs, late training, late reviews, late sign off on documents, periodic updates of documents, everything that has a deadline can be gamified. If you, with everybody sign off on time on that process, then you get points. Otherwise, you do not get points. So this feeling of winning points, maybe not for everybody, but for definitely some people in our organization, will have this psychological trigger to do it on time. The score keeps growing. The score can be transferred to other companies that use Scilife in the future, so you can keep building your Scilife user score. So that's the gamification part. We started out with basically a thin layer of gamification, but we can keep adding on top of that, right? So there's a difference between complex trainings versus very simple trainings, or long trainings versus short trainings that are signed off. I shouldn't get the same amount of points for training of a full day with 25 training items of long documents and videos and assessments, as opposed to just one little training of an SOP where I can just mark it as read and understood and I'm done with my training. Obviously, it's much less effort, and therefore the gamification aspects should differ when you do these different actions. So we're constantly going to look at how gamification is evolving, and we're going to add more gamification items to make this more powerful. And then the last point here is advanced analytics, which comes down to the providing more data insights from functionalities which are quite basic, like creating your own reports, but also functionalities like goal setting, so that you can decide to maybe improve a specific data point. For example, late CAPAs. I'm now at 12% late CAPAs on average over the last period of 6 months. I would like to improve that to 10%. So I'm going to put some process changes in place, and then I want to track it. So if I can set a goal over 6 months, I want to be at 10%, I can see halfway if I'm actually getting there by showing trends of the data that is being accumulated in relation to late kappas, so that I can see the things that I put in place 3 months ago. With only that, are we going to reach there, or should I just do another brainstorming session, look at the process with the rest of the team, and implement something additionally, because otherwise we're not going to make it, right? So goal setting is a important feature. And lastly, of course, the benchmarks, which are quite powerful, because it gives you a window into the market. How is everybody doing, or our sector, how are they doing in relation to specific KPIs. So here the idea is to come up with this smart quality platform in which we have the quality management tools at the center. It's still there. We're still a system to manage our quality items, and then we're somehow putting these layers on top, which are the augmented learning part that I just explained. So just to give you a short view on how that will look when we go live next week with this new feature. It's really a learning management system where you can see all the courses that are developed by us. Everybody will have access to the same courses. All our customers will have access to the same courses, and users can just decide to look at these videos or not. And then in future versions, these videos can be, or these courses can be also linked from the trainings module or trainings solution within Scilife, so that the quality departments or other departments can also leverage on it. So then we have the sustained motivation on top of that. Sustained motivation, of course, the Scilife Academy is already helping with that. The Scilife community is already helping with that. But additionally, we have these gamification aspects. The gamification, just again to show you a little bit how that looks, is you will have access within the system to a dashboard where you can see all these gamification aspects with some additional data and how you're doing. And lastly, insightful data. So KPI solution is completely redesigned, revamped to provide more information. The standardized reports will still be there, but the idea is to have you just a much more powerful system where you can create your own reports, and you can have industry average benchmarks that give you more insights into how this is working for your company, and where you should definitely spend more time on, invest in better processes, etc., to improve those KPIs. So the long-term vision is really go from a system that is just a QMS, where we have a compliance focus, into this smart quality platform, which turns your QMS into a competitive advantage, a real driver for value creation, as opposed to just a cost of doing business. The overview here might be interesting to look at, the difference between these two systems, right? So a compliance only focus is quite reactive. It wastes a lot of time on administrative tasks that are done by quality responsible, so in the quality department. They are keeping track of quality mostly. They're policing the rest of the employees to do their quality actions. If that is removed because people are better educated, intrinsically motivated to perform their actions themselves with gamification, etc., then the quality department can really spend time on higher value tasks that really improve the product the innovation and are just more impactful within the company from a quality perspective. So the second point here is the disjointed efforts of the quality unit. It's really working in a silo and not very connected to the rest of the organization. Here we transform that in a really collaborative effort throughout the whole organization by instilling this quality mindset throughout the whole company. The focus from being a cost-heavy burden where top management says we just have to comply with regulation, just have some quality people there. They can even do it on paper, right? We still hear organizations, it's crazy. We still see so many organizations managing their quality system on paper. It's scary. So the efficiency is very, very low. Also, the FDA is constantly advising not to do that on paper, and they are not the fastest in evolving digitizing, right? So it's crazy the percentage of life sciences companies that still think, well, we just have to have it, so we can just do it in Word and Excel files, and if the volume increases, we just throw a few more quality responsibles in the department and they can manage it. It's fine, right? So it creates a quite high total cost of quality, which can be heavily reduced by implementing this smart quality focus, because it really transforms then quality into this competitive advantage I was talking about. And it's really impacting the bottom line. So it means that you're not only reducing costs, but your whole company becomes better. That's why the quality system is in place in the first place. And then the products and services that you provide are also higher quality, which makes you more competitive in the market. It also reduces issues, which it's a cycle, right? That is very, very positive if you get into that continuous improvement, continuous learning cycle. And then from a police mentality to this mind shift of having a quality culture in which everybody understands the importance of quality and everybody wants to be responsible and participate in these quality aspects, because it's they understand the importance for the company to do so. So I would like to explain a little bit about the why, right? So if you look at hard numbers, why would I really go through this effort if it's not clear yet? Some people are moved by numbers and they really want to say, Filip, this is all very nice, but what are we talking about? How much would that increase some numbers in my company? How much would it reduce some numbers in my company? Can you enlighten us with hard facts? So these numbers do not come from us. These numbers come again from McKinsey that already implemented smart quality approaches into organizations big and small in the life sciences sector. So the first one that I think is very, very interesting is that it really reduces up to 50% of the total cost of quality. So how do you get to that number? Because you train people better, so people understand quality better. They have this urge of taking responsibility themselves because of this understanding of quality, which makes them more proactive, which then provides them better insights and on what to focus on and how to avoid deviations and non-conformances, because they are proactive. The more proactive they are, the less issues happen, the less issues are raised, which again require a lot of time to do root cause analysis, implement another kappa, etc., etc. So this continuous improvement cycle, I'm not saying that life sciences company are not doing it. They are doing it, but the approach is there an issue? Okay, just raise the issue and go through the whole process. People don't like the process. I don't care. We have to comply. Just raise the issue, go through the process, do your root cause analysis, create a corrective and preventive action, have everybody sign off on it, implement it. But then the issue is already there. So if you can turn this continuous improvement into a tool that avoids the issue from being there in the first place, not because of these very small incremental improves through kappas, but because the whole organization understands quality better and is proactive with quality, then the amount of issues will be reduced. If you reduce the amount of issues, it's a huge time investment every time there is an issue to come to the root cause and implement corrective actions, check them, track them, sign off on them, report on them, etc., etc. So all that, the more you can reduce the amount, the better. I hope that makes sense. So the second number is that it increases or it boosts the performance and efficiency of QA productivity up to 40%. Why? Because you reduce the amount of manual processing. You have automation in place, which already allow you to identify or classify issues. There are faster feedback loops, which again avoid the problem from scaling. If you have an issue and you are late with solving the issue or investigating the issue, it might be that in that time that you need to identify the issue, solve the issue, put a kappa in place, and avoid it from happening in the future, this issue happened 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 100 more times, depending on the issue, the volume, etc. So it scales, right? The sooner you solve the issue, the least scaling you allow for that particular issue. So the more you can automate and the faster you can take action on these quality items, the smaller you keep them. If you keep them smaller, the whole QA department has to implement less time into solving also all these other issues that are somehow related and that scaled out the problem just because we're slow. So that's the idea of or the basis of incrementing this percentage of performance boost in QA processes. And the last one is to that it obviously, if you put all that in place and you get to this other level, you're playing a different league, and therefore it reduces up to 30% the time to market. So in the end, what we want is to create high value products that go to market as fast as possible. And there is no better way of doing that than having a very, very strong quality system that has these smart quality concepts integrated, baked into the system. And therefore it is this competitive advantage and not just a compliance focus to pass audits. So I hope this helps illustrate the why of smart quality. Obviously, or for me, when you really understand these numbers and when you look at the layers that you have to put in place on top of your quality system, it's a no-brainer. There's no reason why not to do it, right? So it's really, really powerful for the whole organization to take this approach, to implement it, and to have this quality culture within the organization and work on that. That's the number one investment that should be top of mind for quality departments that do not have smart quality implemented yet. And lastly, I would like to discuss what's next for Scilife. So I wanted to just give you an idea of what we're working on. The first point is to really keep expanding our Scilife Academy. The idea is to have at least 50 trainings at the end of the year. Trainings of all sorts. There might be some product-related training in there, obviously, but then all the rest will be quality and smart quality related, so that you can leverage on those trainings to educate better your employee bases. These trainings are all about great content to add value to whatever you want to explain or train within your company that are unrelated to your company trainings that you manage in your trainings module to have training records, right? So this is the Scilife Academy is something that we will work on to provide all customers with all these trainings that will keep on expanding over time. We will update these trainings over time as we see fit, etc., etc. The second point is gamification. We're doing this phased rollout in which we started with a thin layer of gamification to make sure that we get some feedback of how gamification is impacting user behavior so that we can understand the psychology of our users better and better, and we can help them in a positive way to make them more participant in these quality actions. So we are going to roll out more gamification mechanics over time as we understand how that should work. We will just keep testing this. And lastly, the data insights. We're going to keep working on ways to provide much more data, many more data insights from all this quality related data that you're pumping in Scilife, in relation also with the rest of the market. Everybody has some KPI dashboard, but just standard reports are not good enough. There are much better ways to provide insights in quality related data, and how to do that is something that we're really, really serious about. I already mentioned a few things like benchmarks and goal setting, but there are also other things that we can do more on the predictive and analysis basis that are also very, very interesting, and that we will keep investigating and implementing over time in the system. So with that, I hope you have an idea, a sneak peek of what's coming, and I would like to open up for questions. So are there any questions for me? Thank you very much so far.